Hi guys, I'm Gabe Lenners with your Red Carpet Report, and tonight we're at the Samuel Goldwyn Theater for a special screening of the 1963 film, The Birds. Okay, you see the posters here. Do the memories just come flooding back from the film?
Well, and because it's the 50th anniversary next year, I mean, a lot of stuff has been going on. Books are being written. The Girl was on the other night, all that stuff. But my memories of Hitchcock were great. He was extremely nice to me. I don't know, maybe I reminded him of his daughter or something. So I didn't have any weird experiences. They were just really good.
What was it like for you, though, to see The Girl?
Well, I found it fascinating because I didn't know any of that stuff had gone on with Tippi. I was 12 years old, so all I know is the relationship that I had with him. And I was, probably oblivious to what went on. So it was interesting. He was kind of creepy.
So you being a little girl on set, what was it like? What was your memory of Alfred Hitchcock?
Well, he was great to me. I asked him questions. I wanted to know how things were done. Wouldn't people know that all the birds weren't alive, that there were cardboard ones that were sitting on the jungle gym and stuff. And he said, your eye sees movement and it assumes that everything is moving, which is absolutely true. They did that in The Natural, too. They put in all those people that were at the stadium and then they mixed in some extras in there and you see some people moving and you just automatically assume that the whole thing is alive.
That's so interesting.
I know. And then the scene at the end where we go out at the very end of the movie, there was no door. And I asked him, I said, well, aren't people going to notice that there's no door? And he says, well, if there was a door, I wouldn't be able to see you. So then he says, Rod, let's show her how it's done. And so Rod bent down and he mimed opening the door and the shadow went across our face and you assume that there's a door. And he says, you see, this is the magic of movies. Now, for a 12-year-old, that was fantastic. I mean, it was like learning the whole process of how things worked. It was really great. So, I don't know, I just had a great relationship with him. So,
What were your favorite scenes to shoot?
favorite scenes to shoot. Well, they were all pretty intense.
Yeah,
I mean, right off
I
the
guess
bat,
so.
with the birthday party, right off the bat, I get hit in the head with a seagull. So, which they showed a bit of it in the Girl the other night with that seagull, and then of course it went off into the bay because it broke the string, and of course its beak was tied and its feet, and so they had to go and get it, otherwise it would have died. So. There were a lot of interesting things to do. Running like crazy and being in a big plastic bubble when all the birds came down the chimney. That was like totally creepy and weird, and lots of interesting things. I enjoyed the whole process, so I have no complaints.
What's something you'll never forget?
Something I'll never forget.
Yeah, from the movie. You're sitting there, you're in those scenes, you're seeing all this stuff happen around you, the birds. What's a memory you're never gonna forget?
Well, the whole experience was incredible to me. I had never worked on anything where we worked with the amber screens. They had these weird sort of gas screens. Everything was shot twice. I mean, he shot everything in Bodega Bay and up near Santa Rosa. And then he brought everything into the soundstage. So the house that we had, that was our house, he just picked that up and chopped down that big tree and brought it right into the soundstage. So that whole experience was just incredible. The sand dunes, they were brought in. I don't know, it was a really terrific experience for me. And he requested meeting me. I had done a movie called The Children's Hour, which I think he saw, and so he requested meeting me. And I went to his office, which was there on the Universal lot, And I went in, and he told me, I was born in Bristol, England, where his favorite wine cellar was. So he proceeded to tell me great
So you hit it off right away.
right away. And I wish I knew the names of these wines now,
Yeah.
because he was listing them and telling me how good they were.
And of course, you're so young, and you're like, I don't drink wine.
And how to cook a steak, because someday I'd be married and I would need to know how to cook a steak properly. I mean, it was hysterical. It was just great. I don't know. I never felt intimidated by him. He never made me feel that way. So the whole experience was wonderful for me.
Yeah, it just seems from even talking to you, it was such a learning experience.
Oh, totally a learning experience. I mean, and in a weird sort of way, it's where I sort of learned my craft, which you couldn't just think of, like, oh, I lost my dog and then become. I found during that movie, just to use the experience, just to listen and use what was happening around me, brought on the emotions. And years later when I studied, I realized, hey, I had this thing in the bag early on.
You really did. Well, hey, it was so nice to meet you. Thanks for taking time to talk with us tonight, and have a great night, all right?